To include
Sí,
your
pues nomás,
second
o sea, me daba largo, y yo nomás cambié por el.
so if my 900, if my like
Y
rest
me dio su piso, pero.
in the 90.
Creo que vas a ser el primero, pero de los
De los últimos, me mandó la lista.
Before and after that, I just don't want to share my data back. The original is still good.
They don't say it on the
¿Te estás escuchando? El que estaba. Es que tengo las escaleras y luego Miguel me empezó a andar, pero apenas la canción de Lady Gaga, ¿sabes?
No.
Ya la escuchaste.
No, es que casi nunca me hizo la letra, entonces me dificulta como que un amigo.
¿Cómo te llamas?
No me he pedido. Pero sí.
¿Cómo se pronuncia? ¿Pacuche?
Sí, nomás. Pero pues aquí me dicen, como la primera de Pacuchi, ¿cómo le dicen?
Sí. Por eso, o sea, ¿sí se dice Pacuche?
Sí, sí, sí.
Ah, ok.
Pero como que. No, pues estamos complicado decir, no, Pacuchi. No, Pacuchi. Me ahorro la explicación. Pero no escuché.
Sí, no tengo cuenta.
No fue demasiado, no te lo juro. ¿Quién fue? ¿Quién habló?
Ella, yo.
No, that's current. The what should give you average. My name's you.
Me disculpo. Y yo.
73.
Oye, qué calor,
You
¿no?
don't really wear it at night.
No,
Yeah, so
sí, yo
that's
también.
good.
Sí, está.
Mine, if I didn't wear my shit at night, my shit would be like over 90.
No, yo. Voy a aplicar aquí.
My resting is not high. 60 something. That's my rest. My pure resting, but during the day.
Estaba pensando.
Mañana se dijo ya.
Call this meeting to order at 5 p.m. So the secretary, can we please proceed to review last week's minutes? Oh, right. Roll call.
President Williams,
Present.
EP Alvarez,
Present.
Executive Assistant Navarro,
Present.
Senator Pettis,
Present.
Senator Pérez Ramos, Senator Strickland,
Present.
Senator Ortega,
Present.
Senator Diaz-Olmos, Senator Rojas, Senator Ramirez, Senator Alvarado,
Present.
Senator Barrientos,
Present.
Senator Bourret,
Present.
Senator Borrego, Present. Senator Hernández Pacio, Senator Gutierrez, Senator Guerrero,
Present.
Senator Lechuga,
Present.
Senator Morales,
Present.
Senator Mota,
Present.
Senator Ashton Ochoa,
Present.
Senator Solis,
Present.
Senator Zuniga,
Present. Okay, now, Senator Secretary, may we please review last week's minutes? And we are moving for a motion.
Motion to approve last week's minute.
Have a motion to approve last week's minutes. That's a motion.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to approve last week's minutes. Everyone in favor, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Any abstention? Motion passes. Minutes pass. Councilman Secretary, may we please proceed to review this week's agenda? And we're looking for 8. President Morales.
I move to approve 6 weeks agenda.
Have a motion to approve this week's agenda. Senator Willis. Have a motion and a second to approve this week's agenda. Those in favor say aye. Aye. This is posting it. Any abstentions? This agenda is passed. So now moving on with the agenda, we do have guests present joining us tonight. So starting from the left side somehow, if all our guests can please briefly introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Alexis Perez and I am the best.
Hello everyone, I'm Purna. I'm from Rhetoric and Composition, Liberal Arts. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Jessie Garcia. I am from the Multimedia Journalism and Chicano Studies program.
Hi, my name is Luna Palacios and I'm part of the Excel program.
I think that wraps up our guest tonight. So moving on with today's agenda under new business, bill number 99. And I will pass before Senator Pettis.
I'm gonna pass this off to Senator Strickland.
What I hear, you want to read the title? This is your bill, right? Yeah, you want to read it? I'll read it. I'll read the title.
Okay.
A bill to appropriate the sum of $200 to help defray expenses of sending one student to attend the conference on college composition and communication in Baltimore, Maryland, from April 8th to the 12th, 2025. Can you just explain a little bit what you're going to be doing?
Yeah, I'm presenting, this is a conference presentation and I have written a paper. That's basically I'll be presenting my paper, and my paper is based on the first year campus in the classroom, what we call YC classroom, right? And I am a PhD student, and I'm teaching first year campus as assistant instructor. And while teaching, I have applied like how we can challenge or how students can challenge the technological operation. By technological operation, I mean how there may exist like gender, race, and disability differences in technological and digital world, and how students can challenge. And students can challenge those digital operations if they have been well informed to the insights of challenging them, and those insights are our story. And besides this presentation, I will have 3 sponsored panels. Therefore, I'm pretty hopeful that I'll do great. Thank you.
Are there any questions at all?
President Morales.
I had a question about the amount. Was the intention to like increase the first student average? Like what last week we were getting like 150?
No, we have a higher student average, but the intention of what we appropriated, nothing.
Okay, I was just wondering because if I remember like last week we were like giving out less than that. I was wondering why this one got more.
Yeah, so essentially, we have like a point system that we developed, and it has to meet certain requirements in order to like move off the funding. We can take it through it like after you to.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm not questioning like the amount. I was just wondering why it's more.
Because we evaluate every bill holistically, we won't appropriate the same amount just because we appropriate the same regular bill.
Okay.
Well, for the previous.
We're looking for a motion. President Morales.
I move to appropriate the sum of $200 to bill number 90.
We have a motion to approve $100 to bill number 99. Senator.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve $200 to bill number 99. All those in favor say aye. Oh, no, now we will open the floor for open discussion.
Call the question.
Have a motion to call the question. Senator Soto.
Yes, sir.
A motion and a second. Questions or post discussion? Now, all those, we had a motion and a second to approve $200 to bill number 99. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstention? Bill number 99 passes with $200. Right, moving on with the agenda, bill number 107, Leslie Sullivan. I will pass the floor back to Senator Beck.
I move to recognize Senator Diaz.
We have a motion to recognize Senator Diaz. Senator Alvarado.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to recognize Senator Diaz. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Abstention? Okay, welcome, Senator Diaz. Okay, so moving on with the agenda, we'll pass the vote back to you.
I'll be passing this bill off to Senator Diaz.
So I believe Leslie's in Oregon, right? Correctly? So there's no representative here. Okay, perfect. Then we'll go ahead and read it for you. A bill to appropriate the sum of $180 to help defray expenses of sending one student to attend the American Society of Pharmacology and Experimental Therapeutics conference in Portland, Oregon from April 3rd to April 6th. Any questions?
Yeah, what is
We're looking for a motion.
Could you just talk about what they do?
Yeah, you wanna, like, can you go up? Essentially, they're gonna present a research poster, and yeah, I mean, it's essentially what we got from it. They're presenting a research poster. Again, the person's not here, and I really don't know what it really is about. Let me be completely honest with you. But yeah, they're just gonna be presenting at a conference.
A lot of their work is around things such as Ozempic and research on that.
Did they tell you when they were gonna be here?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're actually at the conference now.
Senator Diaz.
I move to appropriate the sum of $180 to bill number 107.
We have a motion to approve $180 to bill 107. Senator Alvarado.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the $180 to bill 107. And now we will open for discussion. Senator Fernando. We have a motion to close discussion. Senator Bennett.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close open discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstention? Okay. The open discussion has been closed. And earlier we had a motion and a second to approve $180 to go number 107. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Okay. The motion passes for $180 to bill 107. Moving on with the agenda, bill number 108, Anissa Sierra. We'll pass the floor back to Senator Bennett.
We'll be passing this bill off to Senator Diaz.
Is anybody here representing the bill? Okay, perfect. A bill to appropriate the sum of $180 to help defray expenses of sending one student to attend the NACCS, National Association Chicano Studies, 50-year sustaining Sentley and Cali, our sacred knowledge, conciencia, and home, Albuquerque, New Mexico, April 2nd to April 5th. So if you recall last week, there is three people here. There was three people here. Alyssa was one of them that came to represent the bill. We appropriated money to them. One was going to do the historical aspect, one of them is the research component, and the other one's going to be the philosophical aspect of that research project. So they're actually at the conference right now. And yeah, essentially.
Any questions?
We only did 2 of the 3 last week.
Yes.
Motion as a vote rate.
To appropriate the sum of $180 to bill number 108.
We have a motion to approve $180 to bill number 108. A second. Have a motion and a second to approve $180 to bill 108. Now we will open the floor for discussion. Anybody?
Call question.
Have a motion to close open discussion. Senator Roberto? We have a motion and a second to close open discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? So earlier we had a motion and a second to appoint $180 to bill number 108. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Bill passes with $180 for bill number 108. Moving on to the agenda, bill number 109 for Jesse Garcia. I'll pass it back to Senator Bell.
Thank you.
Jesse, could you read the title first, please?
Yes. A bill to appropriate the sum of $100 to help defray expenses of sending one student to attend the El Paso Community College Border Learning Conference in El Paso, Texas on April 4th, 2025.
So I know you probably have a question of why is it $100? So that's the only thing that's in the which is the registration fee. So we decided to cover that completely. Any questions?
Talk a little bit about your work and your research you've been doing.
So basically, I will be presenting a preliminary study understanding success rates in the rural districts in El Paso, Texas. I focus on Sanelli and Fabens Independent School District. And it basically takes into account socioeconomic factors, so living below the poverty line, the need for work, and also just the general culture around Mexican and Mexican Americans, which is the majority of the migrant students that we see in these districts. And this preliminary study will lead into a master's thesis and master's research, hopefully within the next couple of years after my undergrad degrees are done. And after we have this preliminary study done, then I would like to research and propose ways where we could find solutions to help these students reach high school graduation and even pursue higher education.
Senators, do you have any questions? I move to appropriate the sum of $100 to bill 109.
Here we have a motion to approve $100 to bill number 109. Senator. Do you?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve $100 to bill number 109. Now we will open the floor for discussion. Senator Alvarado?
Call the question.
Okay, we have a motion to close the discussion. Senator Ortega?
A second.
We have a motion and a second to close the discussion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? We have closed the discussion. And we had a motion and a second to approve $100 to bill number 109. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Okay. Bill passes with $100 to bill number 109. Moving on to the agenda, for appointment of Elena Palacios. Now we'll pass the floor to Senator Strickland.
You want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Well, I kindly introduce myself. My name is Luna Palacios. I'm majoring in psychology and Chicano studies, and I have a minor in legal reasoning. I am the team manager for the Rugby Women's Club. I'm part of the LSPI program. I'm part of the Excel program. I'm also part of Ignite Texas Rising. I was for a short time part of the CHIPLES, the Chicano Pre-Law program. I'm trying to go back to that. And yes, any questions you guys have? Anything you want to ask? Are we good?
Were you in court?
Monday?
Food court or whatever?
Oh, mock trial? I was in mock trial for a while, but I didn't have enough time anymore.
Yeah, I interviewed Luna a few weeks ago. Everything went pretty well. She presented really professionally. I think she'd be a good addition to LA's I know that we only have like another month or so before we have to redo all the LA processes, but I want her to get some experience while she's in here. Any questions?
I'm graduating the spring 26th, but that could be.
Looking for Senator Beto.
I'm gonna be doing two majors out. I'm curious.
Well, when I got into school, I was interested in psychology, but then I took a couple of Chicano studies classes, and I realized it's centered in Mexican American history, and I want to be an immigration lawyer, so I thought knowing about history, Mexican American history, and the struggles that people had to go through would help me understand better the legal system.
Senator.
I move to appoint Luna Palacios for the position of legislative assistant.
We have a motion to appoint Luna Palacios to the position of legislative assistant.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Luna Palacios as legislative assistant. All those in favor say.
Wait, roll call.
Secretary, okay, please do roll call.
Our favorite.
So your only senators are the ones that are allowed to.
Point of information, we did not dismiss the guest.
Emotion,
Hmm?
Emotion.
No, it's not a motion.
You say you just announced this. So you can read.
We do it after new business.
He does it after everyone reads.
Like after all the bills. Yeah.
We'll do it after this.
Okay. In addition to the next question.
They're still signing in that point.
I'm sorry.
They're still signing in.
The voting has it open. Like you have to sign in first and then.
Is everyone signed in?
Yes.
Alright, now it should be open.
With a 2/3 majority vote, we appoint Luna Palacios as legislative. Without all of our guests, if you can be dismissed, you are more than welcome to join us for the rest of the meeting, but you don't have to. You are free to sit out if you prefer. Bring this name. Moving on with the agenda. Under appointment for election commissioner Ethan Johnson, I'll pass the floor back to Senator.
Oh, thanks.
They all have a group.
Yeah. All right, well, so hello everyone. So none of our election commissioners are here, so I feel it's fair to just do a combo and just put them all together and appoint them at once. That's great.
Why were they chosen?
Why were they chosen? Sarah was the one who did them. They had a good application. Out of the ones they were asked questions. The biggest question was, were they associated to anyone in SGA? That was the big determining factor for elections. Did they have any experience with holding anything similar to elections? And then the general requirements for the 2.5, identification, all that. You're like the tracking call.
Why are they not here?
Why are they not here? No clue.
Who, so,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
point of information, who sent the notice?
I did it.
Sarah should have sent a notice. I don't know.
I'm just gonna ask, did they know they were supposed to show?
Yeah, it's,
Sarah was told to confident. I feel probably confident that she did, but they're not here. I guess we'll table it.
well, so, real quick,
So about the points, she even messaged me yesterday because I didn't add them originally, and she even wanted us to pass it by today, so she wanted. I don't know if she notified them, but when I said, she told me that on the interview plans, she clarified said that they were part of the reservation board and they looked ready anymore. So that helps with. Yeah.
so just for y'all to know, if y'all do decide to appoint them today, at the end when the elections are over, when the new senators are sworn in, we choose how much we're paying them based on the work that they did. So we find that that they were not effective, we can definitely take that into consideration when voting for how much money we're gonna appropriate to them.
Just to add to that, if they do a bad job, there's been times that they've been paid as little as $15.
Yeah.
And then if they do a very good job, there's times where they get the maximum amount, which is 200 possible. They're gonna be the ones that are gonna be working with the election advisory board to go ahead and help out with the elections and all that, since we're all wrapping our administration up pretty hungry and we're bringing in new people. Yeah, I guess we'll go one by one.
Are we allowed to table them?
Based on what's in the second you mentioned, Sarah, or are you
Yeah, but
Info sessions would also be next week, so they'll be there.
I know we mentioned possibly extending the period for elections. For the application.
We extend it when there's not like a good amount of applicants. There's been thankfully a good amount of applicants now, so there's no need to extend it like we've done in the past.
Well, if we table this, I would see a need to extend it.
You're pushing back all the elections one whole week.
We should have been here. We should have had information about each individual that we're voting on.
Wait, where does it say that we have that they have to be here?
Oh, just the fact that they're on the agenda.
But why do they have to be here in person?
There's no rule in place.
And they've already gone through SART, they've already been through, we can solve it out.
Yeah, I mean, they did go through SART.
Okay,
They do SART. Yeah, Sarah did interviews with, I think, 5 candidates, and then picked up 3.
Okay, I'm checking for right now, clarify some things. They were not supposed to come today, but we're supposed to deliver on their voting day. So next week they can have they can help with the elections.
So they were not,
They weren't supposed,
they're not supposed to?
they're definitely, they had her approval. So she already interviewed them, they were the ones nominated by her, those 3 only, instead of the 5.
right?
And they're the ones.
Well, those are her recommendations from Attorney General, then it still needs to pass appointments.
So yeah, is this position a position that gets voted on, or is it an appointed position by her specifically?
It's sort of like she brings them up, you gotta want to.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's decided vote.
No contact.
Is there energy off?
She's not here.
Don't you have like?
I have no information on any of this. Yeah, it didn't go through me at all.
I mean, I don't see the point in pushing back the election. So we just hear, and we're gonna approve it either way.
Secretary, should we have additional comments from Attorney General? About each individual?
They're grad students.
I mean, there's a reason we don't appoint LAs without any context either. Why would you make an exception for an election commissioner? The U.S. senators, executive branch.
Sarah.
That doesn't make sense.
Sarah already vetted them, she's been through, what, 5 elections?
Right, but it would be the same thing, so our vets, legislative assistants, who are out of Senate needs to.
And have a double standard.
It's up to the Senate.
That's all of you.
Up to the Senate.
So we are looking for a motion either to appoint election commissioners or to table. That's all right.
Appointment commission, do we do one by one or all?
One by one. I want it all at first, but one by one.
Senator Bell?
I move to appoint Ethan Johnson as election commissioner.
We have a motion to appoint Ethan Johnson as an election commissioner. Or what's that?
I second.
Have a motion and a second to appoint Ethan Johnson as election commissioner.
Yeah, it's roll call.
Secretary Floyd.
Love you.
Is there anyone that hasn't voted?
With a 2/3 majority vote, we appoint Ethan Johnson as election commissioner. Moving on to the agenda. Senator Bell. Do you retract your motion? Continuing with the agenda, the appointment of Henry Warner as election commissioner. Appoint Henry Barner as election commissioner. Have a motion to appoint Henry Barner as election commissioner. We have a motion and a second to appoint Henry Barner as election commissioner. Then Secretary, may we please proceed with the roll call?
Everyone vote.
No.
With a 2/3 majority vote, we appoint Henry Barner as election commissioner. Moving on with the agenda, the appointment of Joy as election commissioner.
I move to appoint Joy Saha as the election commissioner.
We have a motion to appoint Joy Saha as election commissioner. Senator Zuniga, yes. Okay, we have a motion and a second to appoint Joy Saha as election commissioner. Then Secretary, will you please proceed roll call?
Everyone vote.
With a 2/3 majority vote, we appoint Joy Saha as election commissioner. Moving on with the agenda, under executive cabinet reports, President Roy, the floor is yours.
Yeah, well, hello everyone. Thank you all for being here. Just an end of year ceremony update. The tentative date is going to be May 9th, being that day. For our end of the year ceremony, it typically takes place in the evening, so start freeing up that date. That's when we go ahead and celebrate technically our last moment together, and then we give out some awards to the senators, advisors, and everything all around. And it's just a fun night. We're close to finalizing some of the details there, so just keep that date in mind for May 9th instead that day, so we know there won't be classes in that afternoon. For my second point, just hiring updates, we finally got confirmation from the candidate who will be joining as it's a new position now, it's called Just when you know the position, what is it called?
Senior coordinator.
Senior coordinator. For a senior coordinator, they'll be starting hopefully by April 14th. So that's why now we've been pretty much on trying to clean out everything in the office, do the final things that are left. That way we can all make her into a nice and clean environment. So get ready for that. There's gonna be some adjusting and kind of like teaching her how to do certain things, whether that be through like appropriations. SAR, she'll be the one that's gonna start, checking in like on the GPAs, all that sort of stuff. So we'll slowly be kind of training her in those areas and just showing her like all the committees within SGA, but more to come once she arrives in El Paso. And aside from that, I yield my time.
President William. Moving on the agenda. For Vice President for External Affairs. For me, I have a couple for tonight. So first things first, Project Move is this Saturday from 9 a.m. to actually 12 p.m. So we would be dismissed about 2 hours early. So please be there on time. Let me pull this up. So the coordinator for Project Move sent an email to everyone who registered for us. We will be cleaning up the address that was provided in the email. Should be the correct address. If you look it up on maps online, it will take you to some random house on the website. You're not, that's nothing sketchy. That is the location we were given. We will have your t-shirts for you here when you arrive. And that email also mentions a couple of things to bring, and we also have some badge Dr. Mendes provided to us. So bring sunscreen, caps, sunglasses, wear comfortable clothing. We will be outdoors the entire time, and there will be no restrooms apparently for us to use. So just keep that in mind. And then if you will not be able to go and you completed the poll, you have not let us know why. Please do so as soon as possible, because that will count towards your stipend as an unexcused absence. Moving on with graduation stools. I reached out to previous SGA members as well as everyone who is currently a senior to see if you need a graduation stool either for this semester, the summer, or even for the fall. So once those are done, I will reach out to sophomores and juniors just so that we can have your preferences for your school embroidery. So we can have that on record already for the new administration. So the deadline for that, if you haven't completed that form, is tomorrow by 5. So at that time, I will be sharing the list to Ms. Amber Rodriguez. And I do have some good news to share with you all tonight. We have an update on that second apparel order. And just to remind you what that is the second order we completed late October, early November for the polos and jackets for new senators from way back when. So the purchase order has been done last week. So that order has finally been paid and it's in production right now. So hopefully we will get that sometime this month. And another good news because of that, due to the delays, we discussed that, I mean, if you may recall, those of you who wanted a second jacket, you would pay it from your stipend because it took so long and we had a lot of trouble with the vendor. We decided that SGA will be paying for those, so you will receive your stipends in full. Yay! I'm also waiting for my jacket, so yeah. And then my last point, the conference room. So this is actually a bit more of a serious announcement. And I thought I didn't have to call anyone out this Senate, but here we are. So here on screen, you will see some pictures of what we've observed in the conference room. So there's rum stains, like water cups and everything. And we have ants now on the conference room table. So you may recall we did give a first and only warning to everyone, and so there will be a new rule in place, and I will pass the board to President Loya for that new rule.
Yeah, I told you we weren't animals. But they got to this point, so from now on, guys, there's gonna be no food in the conference room allowed. We do bring more guests now professionally into the office, and that's just a thing on top of that. More of the seats are tearing up. But for example, come on, there's ants in there. Some people said that I was lying when I told them, and we figured we'll take a photo once we see them. There's stuff like that. Take with the drinks, guys. There's wipes in the drawers for you all to go ahead and use. There's equipment for you all to not get your plates. There's plenty of seating in the back two chambers for you guys to go ahead and eat in those areas. So it won't be a problem to have you guys not be eating there in the conference room anymore. Won't be allowing any food. I think it's very unfortunate. I do think it hasn't even been 4 months, and this is the situation that we're in now. So yeah, that's it.
And to add on to that, not only are there enough supplies for you to clean after yourselves, but also don't just throw your crumbs to the floor. You know who you are. I know who you are.
Even worse, just leave the crumbs there on the table.
President Wilson came to visit our office yesterday. He was with the Excellers, so those little things definitely.
It's a professional environment, guys. Yesterday, the university president came around. We had the meeting in my office, and then we went to the back. But we did make a little stop at the conference room. So of course, like when we're doing stuff like that, we want to go ahead and keep it clean. I get it. Things get distracted. I know another thing, for example, is taking chairs out of the conference room. I realized I don't mind as long as you guys put them back. There's people here who do a very good job of taking the chairs out and putting them back once they're done. But they'll just leave the chairs there, have a random conference room chair in the middle of the office. It's a professional environment. We want to treat it as such. To a certain extent, it also is a privilege, and we could lose that. So I just wanted to bring this up to you all.
On the note of food in the office, if you have a committee meeting where you have guests, you should not have food present, again, because it is a professional environment. So you need to make arrangements somehow to either eat before or after, and rushing or running to go get food is not an justifiable excuse to be late to your meeting or to miss. So again, you know who you are, we know who you are. That's a little right?
Yeah. Like we can't have food, like if we have Excel, like we had food for that. Or what do you mean?
In the conference room. Chambers, you guys don't. Only thing is, for example, take welfare. If you guys have noticed, people in Faculty Senate are showing up to the chambers. Like in those meetings, don't be eating while the guests are there. It's simple etiquette, stuff like that. Same thing with the excuse of I went to go get food, sorry I'm late, and then you guys pull up with Dutch Bros and stuff like that. So, for example, hey, that's kind of off campus. There's other alternatives here. You tend for you all to stay and be in time within your meetings, and that's not really a valid excuse that we've seen, because we've seen in some of the committees, and we see that people show up late and they come with food from outside of UTEP, which there's no problem for you guys to eat outside of UTEP, but that shouldn't be a justifiable excuse for you all showing late to the committees.
Any additional questions or comments on the matter? I will yield my time for executive cabinet reports, because I'm still here. So continuing with the agenda for Senate Majority Leader, President Woodwright.
So yesterday, or well, I guess in some context, a couple of weeks ago, Dean Aguilar emailed me saying that a representative from OnFlow reached out to see if we would want to partner with them for Project Period. So yesterday, me and Edgar were on a meeting with one of their sales reps,
to talk about potentially having a partnership with them. And so essentially what they offer is period products, but they do it in, they have actual dispensers for them. And so it'd be a way for us to move away from just having the bins. As you can see, the cost is $341 for each dispenser. And so right now we are in about 33 bathrooms. And so if we did purchase one for each of those, that would be $11,000. And so that is quite significant. But the more that we buy, the more that they would discount that price. And so that, I think they would lower that for us. But essentially, I just wanted to bring it up to y'all because to see if that's something that y'all would like to move forward with, potentially working with them and moving away from the way we've been doing Project Period to where each of those containers, they hold 50 pads and 50 tampons. So like, for example, our bins right now, they only hold 7 tampons. So that's going to cut down on the amount of time that we have to restock, and it's going to just save us so much time and power, honestly.
Like, how's it gonna work with the sizes?
I'm sorry?
Like, how does it work with the sizes?
So, yes, I'll get to that. And so, for the costs of the products, they're very comparable to what we already spend. So for 500 tampons, that's $145, which is $3.40 per tampon. What we just bought was the L Pure tampons, and that cost us $3.66 per. So it's about the same. For the pads, that's where there's some difference where theirs cost, it's the same cost, so it's $145, but the ones we just bought from Cora were $2.32. So it's $1 cheaper if we stick with what we're using.
When you say their cost, so this company provides tampons and pads as well?
Yes, so you can only use their tampons and pads in that container. So they only offer one type of pad, and it's it actually fits into these red packages, and like they're like wallet size. It looks like a condom wrapping, but it's like folded, and so that expands and it has the pad. But they only have one style, and so that's just the typical winged one. And so that's the biggest difference with what we do now is we offer a wide variety of pads. And so it'd be more like a shift to where their whole goal is to provide it in cases of emergency. What we really have been doing so far is doing it as if you need it maybe tomorrow. But yeah, so I think the biggest drawback is that we can only use their products. But I was just wondering if it's something that you think is worth pursuing. Yeah, would you like that?
Yeah, another thing is like we've been discussing with union the financials behind it. And we came to the agreement that if we were to purchase a product for union, that they would be the ones buying the dispensers. So that's a big concept. So and a big alleviation for the cost. Another part was that we realized that kind of that model can be followed in a lot of the colleges. For example, with the College of Business, there's really only 2 main bathrooms on the 3rd floor. Like if you can get the College of Business to pay for those, like that's another cost alleviating. There's really a lot of ways to go about funding it throughout the whole university, and if you break it up into phases, it's a lot more viable to do. So, for example, maybe whoever comes in the next administration, they do like phase 1 of it, and then a year later you do phase 2 and phase 3, and slowly start rolling it out across the 33 bathrooms that we have. Because if we were to do it up front, probably not. It's pretty hefty cost, but there's that. The other thing was that the prices seemed a lot cheaper when I remember doing an Excel on it, and if we quote unquote like break even after like 2 years, we were to consider like what we have invested already with like Project Period. On top of that, it's a quantity, you can't beat that. That's a lot more than what we're currently doing. The other part is their system behind the restocking. So they do the texting. So like if you notice, it's the text of the number, and they'll have like specific for that. With that, it's a lot easier for us to go ahead and track like all those data points. And then you can build more correlations and arguments to why they need to be further funded. So that was another thing that they addressed pretty well during the sales call.
Do I pick? Okay, Strickland has hand up first.
I guess it's more a question for you. I've worked in other organizations where this you can't like do one product, I guess, like this would like monopolize the college. Historically in other organizations that I work for, you have to present like 3 products, 3 price quotes, to show like fairness. Is there anything like that with UTEP? No?
I don't think so, because they're already in the university, like other universities.
I was just making sure, legally, that's all.
There's something like that for bids and all sorts of stuff. Dr. Simon, I feel like you know more about it than you do.
You are right. You are absolutely right. There are some bids, for example, after a certain percentage, but I believe you have already spoken to Dean Aguilar regarding this project, correct?
Yeah.
So as long as she's involved, I think she will be able to provide guidance as well.
I think it's $15,000 more.
Oh, that makes
It has to be a bit, something like that. There's really fun.
And this is a lot.
Right.
A lot of.
Yeah.
So I was just going to add that what you already mentioned, that a lot of universities in the country already have this. I actually saw one when I went to the non-UTSA or conference. The one, Dr. Simon, the one we went to?
Nah.
There we go, yes, NACA, we went to NACA and at the University of Vernon, it was in Vernon, California. And they actually have these, it turns out, pretty interesting, never seen this.
And then next week we'll also be discussing with UTSA and UT Austin how they do it in their schools, because they're part of the partner. So I reached out to the president over there and I have a free 15-minute call to discuss it with them next week. So, what should we do?
So the company would be doing the restock instead of SGA Cares?
No, so that's what they were saying that in other schools that have like Project Period, it's actually facilities that restocks them. So where that's just part of their actual work responsibilities. But it wouldn't be someone from the company, it'd be someone from UTEP, whether that's our facilities or still senators.
Okay.
Yes, Grace, yes, if you were taking.
I have like a picture of one in like use at a store, or it was the Apple store. I was gonna say like it looks, just like a visual, I don't know. It's kind of different looking.
They have different models.
Yeah.
This was just the most popular one. If you go to dispense. Yeah, so these are all the different ones that they have. So they might have a different one.
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
What is this for America?
Oh, maybe.
Is there any like maintenance costs associated or no?
They talked a little bit about vandalism, but
What?
that they've been like beat up in the past. And so that's why they were kind of talking about the materials, or that's why you see the difference in prices. Like one of them is reinforced like stainless steel. The Model E that I was showing you is made out of like a recycled plastic. But I don't think I guess unless something broke, but I don't know if they would cover it.
I want to clarify a little bit about what I'm saying. It's not like the way people are describing it, that like they try to prevent it in many ways. So for example, the actual like I guess stocking part of it is not easily accessible, so like you can't tamper with them. It's a glass portion that like you can see through to see how much like when you need to restock, but it's not easily like accessible. Like that's where when people try to access it, that's how they end up like breaking it.
Gotcha.
Where's the data go?
The data?
Yeah, didn't you say that there's data?
Yeah, they talked kind of about that where I don't know who, they didn't really clarify who's actually collecting it. I think that would be on our side, by like based on, okay, we ordered this many packages of tampons and pads. It was used in the specific bathroom, like we know that was already, like someone texted that it was empty.
Oh, I mean, I understand how we get data. I just want to know who's collecting it.
I'm not sure, we could follow up on that.
And also, like, what would this be done through the government? Pretty sure your committee doesn't have a budget, right? Or they do.
No, I don't think there's any way that we can vote on this year.
Okay.
But because a lot of the funding would come from other departments potentially, and then more generally for next year, people are still here if they think that's even a good idea, so we can start working on it.
Oh.
Would it be like, I think it'd be interesting to do like a single pilot at first to like wherever the most traffic area is that you guys have to resupply every day or whatever. To see like what that looks like, or if people stop using it. I don't know, people like to have specific things, so.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I think phasing in is probably the smartest way.
Yeah. Could we like data on it, like for the students?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what they talk about, like a lot of other universities being able to show this many students used it. And then I don't know how they show the actual correlation, but they do have statistics showing that it increases school attendance. And so if you're asking departments to help fund project, that's perfect to show them.
Other things we're allowed to, like, I don't know, let's say, we can put stuff over it. That was another big thing. Like with a lot of service companies, like you have to let their logo be displayed and all sorts of stuff. Like with ours, they were like, yeah, we work with you all to make sure that like you put your university's like logo on there. You can put like sponsored by Student Government Association, all sorts of stuff. I feel like you will marketing them.
Gotcha.
Good. Thank you.
Teachers and mobile free. Okay, continue on with the agenda under student calendar reports. Advisors, SGA advisors, yes, okay. I do have some from Dr. Meadows who couldn't join us, so I'll start with those and then I'll. Okay, so, Dr. Mendez wants to remind us that, or let us know that Race Your Pick, is happening on April 22nd and 23rd. There will be a block party on the 23rd from 11:30 to 1:30 at Centennial Plaza. And for us particularly, working under student affairs, their three main areas of focus are food pantry, Stronger Together Emergency Fund, and first generation student support. And so, if you were not aware what Race to Pick Day, it's pretty much a 2-day event that UTEP hosts every year around this time to collect funds and donations from the community for different areas that could benefit UTEP student body. And then the second announcement he would like to give you all is to please help us promote the SGA elections. So tomorrow, the form closes tomorrow at 5 p.m. And so we do have quite a number of applicants already, but the more the merrier, make it an actual election, especially with the executive board. Let's try and do that. And that will conclude Dr. Metz's points. Now I'll pass the floor on to Dr. Seymour.
Just want to confirm, did I hear you say that for Race Your Pick, the block party?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. So yes, please attend. It's a great event, fun, activities to work on. And again, it's all about raising money for those three areas. And it's going to be at Centennial Plaza. So I hope that if each and every one of you will be there. Are they going to have dunking? Are they dunking you, Edgar?
Are they judging me?
Are they asking? Surprise, no,
Not yet, but they should have it.
Our recommend, sorry, no, I'm kidding. No, that was all, so please, I hope to see you all out there. It's all about making sure that we are obviously raising as much funds as we, can, okay? But are you around?
And that would also go for collegiate senators. Each individual college and school also participates. I typically help out the graduate school. So if you also, I mean, your deans will definitely be there. In previous years, they have been dumped before, so report and yes. Yes. All right. Did you have any more? No? Okay. Alrighty. So moving on with the agenda, under standing chair reports, for appropriations, we'll pass the board to Senator Bennett. Senator Ortega?
I motion to recognize Senator Ramirez. No.
Okay, we have a motion to recognize Senator Ramirez. That's a little break.
I second.
And a second to recognize Senator Ramirez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Okay. And welcome, Senator Ramirez. You have been recognized. Still out of class. Gonna go this way. Senator Amador?
Motion to recognize Senator Natalia.
Yes.
We have a motion to recognize Senator Gutierrez. Aguilar.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to recognize Senator Gutierrez. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Any abstentions? You're welcome, Senator Gutierrez. You have been recognized. Okay, Senator Ortega.
Motion to recognize Senator Perez Ramos.
Okay, we have a motion to recognize Senator Perez Ramos. Senator Rojas. We have a motion and a second to recognize Senator Perez Ramos. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Welcome, Senator Perez Ramos. You have been recognized.
Tarde, pero sin su.
Senator Perez.
Okay, so this is our updated budgeting for the appropriations committee. We did decide in committee to appropriate 3,000 to special projects. We're hoping that outreach will be the same, not the same amount, but allocate some funding to the special projects budget, but that's currently what now be added. Everyone's been having that big question. I know from last Senate session. So the amount will be 2,000. Currently we have 9,500 and a few cents remaining. Maybe like 2,000 of that will be saved for the summer, because we do still need to save some funds for any bills that we receive in the summer, June, July, which the new senators coming in will be taking. Currently, I know, Bo, right, you mentioned our student average, right now it's at 191, 72 cents, 72 cents. So we are doing a lot better than we did last semester, where it was under recommended student average. We were at 121, so yeah, we up a lot in that area. Any questions about this?
Okay, moving on with the agenda, under the special projects. Have first reading for special project code Fred. The floor is yours. There it is.
What privilege?
Hello everyone, my name is, well, you guys already knew this, Sydney. This is my Alejandro Facuse. You guys might remember him. So the special project is called Special Project Code Red, and a title, a bill to support and host the first event of the Code Red program, an official student-led initiative at UTEP. The event is to be hosted on Wednesday, April 16th, 2025 at 4:30 p.m. in the University Suite, and will be open to all UTEP students.
Where Code Red is an initiative aimed at forming a highly trained network of youth students capable of responding to physical and psychological emergencies, providing students with tools to cope in real crisis situations, and enhancing the overall safety and well-being of the youth of the community. And Korea. They have shown that response preparedness in crisis situations really improve the outcomes of those involved. And UTEP, at the official University of El Paso, has a responsibility to ensure that its students are not only academically prepared, but also ready to handle emergency situations in their community. Through partnerships with local organizations such as CAPS, Red Cross, AMS, and youth police, Code Red aim to provide certification and leadership opportunities to students in the areas of active shooter response, mental health crisis intervention, first aid, and emergency leadership. And Code Red will offer the following workshops designed to equip UTEP students with critical life-saving skills. Double training in basic and advanced hemorrhage control techniques, active shooter response training, response strategies for active shooter situations, and how to lead evaluations. Basic emergency response, first aid, triage, and handling emergencies in multiple victim situations. Mental health crisis intervention, basic intervention techniques and QPR, question, pursuit, and refer, training to prevent suicide. Communication in crisis, developing skills for effective communication in high stress crisis situations, including managing panic and directing groups in emergency. Self-defense and personal protection. Basic defense techniques for personal safety and helping others in crisis situations. Areas. This program will be available to all UTEP students with the goal of transforming UTEP student body into a generational capable of acting with leadership and confidence in the face of any crisis. Be enacted that the 103rd administration of the Student Government Association at the University of El Paso adopts and support Code Red as an official student lead initiative designed to provide UTEP students with training in emergency response and in crisis situations, ensuring that students are equipped with essential skills to respond effectively in real-life emergency situations. Code Red will be a voluntary, non-academic program available to all UTEP students, and it will focus on practical skills, certifications, and leadership development in critical response scenarios, without being part of the formal curriculum or academic structure of the university. Itemization 1. LWD workshop kits 0. Active shooter response training 400. Crisis communication workshop 500. Self-defense and personal protection workshop 400. Total 1300 to 1500. Basically, there is not an exact amount of money because we, as an org, we have to contact professional orgs today to develop the work here. So we need to contact them to get an exact amount of money. So this is the plan for the next semester. And the itemization 2 is totally itemization 2 is totally workshop kits. It's $0 because the organization we will be working it on this semester because this workshop will be on April 15th this semester. Will have no cost to the SGA.
Yeah. Garcia, what led you to do this special project?
So I have told my LA that we do special projects and the purpose of it. So he actually reached out to me with the idea, and I kind of told him what we do, how we do it, and he proposed it to me, and I was like, sounds like a great idea, honestly. Like it helps all students stay safe, and I don't think we have any training. Like I've never been in attendance of a fire drill here on campus. I've never in high school. I know we do lockdown drills and fire drills, and I've never done it here on campus. So I thought it was a great idea, and I decided to support him.
Have you already reached out to the UTEP police, or are you fairly?
It's all planned. Actually, I have emailed one option, which is the or that we will be trying to collaborate for the stop the blood workshop, and I'm still waiting for a response.
Okay. As the University of Police offers similar types of training, so you can definitely reach out to them. If you didn't contact Sarah, try to contact her instead. She's typically involved in those outreach events and presentations or training. If you need her contact info, I can also provide it to you.
Sarah will be active.
Okay. I can look it up right now. Mobile rate.
So you aren't asking for any money?
Right now, this semester, no, because we don't have any time because the semester is almost over. So the workshop is totally, it's $0 because the lead workshop by action has no cost for any nonprofit organizations.
So we're hoping like this happens more like per semester and hopefully it'll be bigger and more workshops and those do come up.
Two questions. What student organization is this going to be under?
Action.
Action? The second is, did you consider applying for appropriations instead of presenting it as a special project?
I consider it to be a special project because I want it to be like long term, because I really had the idea like to be like with more time to be more efficient and then with more workshops and then to feel like have more impact on the campus. And I think being a special project is like a better option.
And also with the support of SGA, hopefully get more students, get spread the word for the event and yeah. Not the name of SGA.
Yeah, I mean, if there's no rush for this project, I heavily suggest you guys meet with Dr. Simon. I mean, he's a pretty good resource to all those, all those areas within UTEP. So definitely schedule some time on her calendar.
We'll definitely reach out.
So if we have the bill, would that make that the event would be hosted by the SGA or by the SGA with the student loan? Because you can also add it as a sponsor, I believe.
It will be held by SGA because it's not an entrepreneur. It's an initiative.
Also, you wanna contact all the organizations to do this event and get support by color. Because
I'll definitely look into it.
because they can give money, but I know some of them can have a lot of money funds. So maybe they can help with the bids. Have you thought about collaborating with orgs? Because MPO is doing a stop the bleeding training tomorrow.
So we could definitely do that. Just like I think we need like being a part of the AJ, make it like more official. I think I put collaborate with CAPS because they are like on all of the psychological services, but we could definitely collaborate with them. Just like being part of the AJ, I think it's like more official. We will have like a contract.
And I feel like also it opens it up to more students. I feel like if like not saying, but like MPO, like I feel like only MPO, because like not everyone knows. So I feel like the whole student body knows about the SG, hopefully. So.
I appreciate the fact that the concept is to make this a longevity thing for students, but in order for that to be a longevity thing, it needs to be predominantly SGA. It can't be just taken over by an organization and we just fund an organization. That's why I presented that this would be more of an appropriations bill.
From my understanding, so we're gonna be the ones like hosting the event, but since we don't have the training or the certifications to like train students and we don't really know specifically, they're the ones that are gonna be coming through and giving the actual like workshops.
So then at that point, I think it also could include MPO.
Yeah, but we just didn't know that. Definitely in the future we could.
So like this kind of reminds me of the bill that we did last year with appropriations with pharmacy org. You remember correctly?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it'll be more like that. I mean, we'll give it longevity if the organization wants to continue doing it, but they're gonna have to go through props every single year. Does that make sense? Because
Wasn't that one like the fair? Like,
yeah, that they had and then they're providing free diabetes screening. Yeah.
And on that note, you could also consider reaching out to some graduate programs because they already have some of these.
Yeah, just keep that in mind. I mean, in case in case you have issues like with funding, you can always rely on our props too to help with that. In case that's an avenue we can explore.
Also, would it be possible to, like, tie this project with welfare? Since when I was in welfare, what we did, it was these type of initiatives, because then in that time, we used to work a lot with, I believe it was traffic. And it was the committee was more directly voice cut. So I believe that by tying it also with that committee, maybe that would help in terms of longevity. Because that's what we did with the town hall. And it's still reoccurring, so it's.
So, moving on to the agenda, we were informed that the Aguilar requested for us to table, the special project bill East Lake. Were you notified of that? No. We were just right before, suddenly, Dr. Simon, would you like to comment on that a little bit?
Yes, based on some of the comments that we discussed last week, we just want to make sure that, for example, the base plate is not going to potentially violate the Sodexo contract that we have. And so again, we just want a little bit more time.
Oh, yeah, from my understanding, like Dr. Ontiveros has already talked to Sodexo and they already have like an agreement. So that's why she's able to bring the foods from the outside source, but you guys would like some more confirmation.
We will reach out to you. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
I move to table special project Eats Plate for next meeting.
We have a motion to table special project Pete's Lake. We have a motion and a second to table special project Pete's Lake. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, special project Pete's Lake will be tabled for next. Moving on with the agenda, under special projects, have the second reading of the engineering organization mixer. Senator Pettigrew, the floor is yours.
That was the. That was the big. Yeah, that's what you should.
Honestly, yeah. Anyone else have this? Oh, I'm both one.
Yo no quiero.
Final order. Hello everyone, this is the final drafted version of last week's special project. The itemization, as I suggested or mentioned last week, it did went up since, man, Dr. Mendez is right. We got the tabling for the 42 tables, which for your guys' future projects, they don't charge by actual table, they charge by the hours and each worker that they will need for the table. So it's mostly the quote is for, I believe, like 7 workers that they assign per hour, 2 hours, which is the dismantlement and putting it one day and the other. So for the 42 tables, it would go to $462. However, during this week, we also had a meeting with Selk, and thanks to Selk, they gave us way more information on how we can better do the logistics because they're the professionals on that. And they should suggested us to reduce the amount from 42 tables to 30 tables. Why? Because now we also could see through their system, which are the active orgs, which is either active or locked. So that's going to help us a lot to have the exact number and who are we going to invite. As well, I'm still waiting on the quotes for negotiating through Sodexo because for sure that's the amount that they give me of $7.99 per student, and it would be 50 students, and you can see it's crazy expensive. So I'm still probing for that amount because that would be our worst case scenario. But regardless, I'm planning to use that, I could say that amount for a more reasonable price, which is this one is from Sam, as you can see. It goes from 400 to 105, and it's considering 2 ice cream per person. That's pretty nice. Fun.
Like in, I know that you've been trying to contact SCLC, Sodexo about like the price matching, right? They haven't gotten you back to you yet?
Or even
We literally talked to them yesterday too.
I know. Yeah. So we're working on that and looking for that price matching because as Sherman suggested, and thank you, I didn't consider that. By us just bringing our own ice cream, that also involves buying ice and getting borrowed a lot of coolers and everything. So the best approach would be go for that price match and the quote of only ice cream. Because as I mentioned last week, this quote of $7.99 per student is with your whipped cream and your toppings, and that's why it's much better. Because you have actually someone preparing your ice cream. Lastly, I decided to go with the TI-84 graphing calculators because I decided to go with the professionals, which are the mathematics majors, and they're the ones that told me that no, we should go with the TI-84 because it does have more tools. And just usually everyone I asked got way more hyped getting. I was even surprised that even seniors got excited of entering a raffle for a TI-84 graphics calculator. So that's pretty nice. And for the same reason, I'm expecting that the total cost would be a little less because of the tables. So I'm expecting it to still be like 1,000 around-ish, but I'm appropriating for literally worst case scenarios. Any questions?
Can you scroll up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I move to appropriate the sum of 1,182 to build special project engineering organization mixer.
Okay. We have a motion to appropriate $1,182 to special project engineering organization mixer. So everybody else? Okay, we have a motion and a second to appropriate $1,180 to special project engineering organization mixer. Secretary, may we please proceed to the roll call?
This is Dan in again, roll call, everyone. Is there anyone that has to rewrite their name? Okay, the vote should be up.
Nicole, Marian, when's the day?
It's July 16th, is Wednesday, is the tabling at Centennial, which is going to be, oh. Wait, which, April, what month are we? April. Yeah. April 16th, 11 to 2 p.m. tabling, and Thursday, 5 to 8 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Campbell? Or you mentioned? Yeah. I told you. Another topic.
I think I have still often response credit study.
Anyone who hasn't voted?
With a 2/3 majority vote, we appropriate $1,182 to special project engineering organization mixer. Okay, moving on with the agenda, under announcements. We don't have any announcements in the agenda. Are there any announcements on the board? Presently?
I'd like to give a shout out of the week. I want to give it to Senator Strickland. Thank you. You did a pretty good job recently. That, and then on top of that, with Project Move, you came in clutch. Helped out a lot with getting a lot of members in there. And looking good. A shout out of the week.
Any other announcements? Senator Strickland?
Unanimous consent. Consent.
You have a question to? Are there any abstentions? Point out. No one should be picking up. Any abstention? We adjourn today's meeting at 7:00.
So, like, you never actually, did you consider contact the customer